Alright guys, Tactical here back again today. Hope you're enjoying your Saturday so far. Yesterday, the first day of the Dallas Home Series online tournament concluded. There was so much to talk about yesterday. A lot of drama, a lot of interesting matches and results. And of course, we'll get into that in the coming minutes. The Chicago Huntsmen versus Minnesota. Full Sail, which we haven't seen in a very long time. We'll go into that, as I said, in the coming minutes. But here, Seattle Surge first series versus the Paris Legion was a very interesting one as well. And there was even a forfeit at the end of the day with Dallas Empire versus Los Angeles Guerrillas. We're going to get into that today. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new. As always, I'll be sharing some gameplay clips from yesterday going along in the video as well. So let's hop right into it first of all. Paris Legion, Seattle Surge was the first series of the day. Seattle Surge win map 1. I was expecting a close series here, and that's pretty much what we got. So Paris tied up, then Seattle Surge win the domination. Then in this map 4 was where it really got interesting here. So Paris Legion win at 250 to 164, but there were a lot of connection issues this map, and you guys may have noticed watching the stream, it was pretty obvious that something was going wrong with the dedicated servers this game. And people weren't very happy about it at all. Now, these tweets I'm going to share with you guys have since been deleted. Good job I was pretty quick on the ball here with screenshotting these, because otherwise that would have been a bit of a disaster. But yeah, apparently the CDL, I suppose, has gone around after it and said, this isn't really a good look for the league, Slacked, and the other pros that are involved. Maybe get rid of these tweets. And Slacked is here just like an everywhere laughing my arse off. And this one from Octane, playing online COD lagging in league matches at Slasher. So this was the initial tweet from Slasher. You getting on neck broke on main stage? Damn man, what happened to you? Because obviously you didn't have the best map here. I guess in this map number 4, okay, he actually was still smoking people. So maybe Octane was, maybe Slasher was talking about a different map. But Octane says the following, Octane says again, just sipping across the map. And Slacked says this tweet, which is still up, having a blast playing the CDL League right now. Hope you guys are enjoying. Now, wanted to share a couple of clips from Karma. He was on Reddit and he posted a couple of clips from his perspective of him just lagging all over the place and the servers basically being unplayable. So I'll share those on screen now. As I said, those have all since been deleted, so good I was quick on the draw. So it's a very interesting situation, and the Paris Legion end up winning game number 5 here in a round 11 fashion. So remarkable series on the whole, but kind of marred by that map 4 debacle. This was the overall series scoreboard. Luca with the 1.4 over it, Octane with a good KD, but Apathy and Karma never really got anything going over the course of the series. And there were some interesting tweets to follow up from this. So Maven says this was a huge pivot for the CDL. Production staff working from home, new tech with varying delays. It's an undertaking. If you're going to tweet negative, ignorant stuff about the weekend, tweet me first so I can block you. So obviously not particularly happy with a lot of the pros talking trash on the situation. Now, it has to be said, the pros shouldn't have to deal with stuff like this, right? You're playing an online competitive tournament for hundreds of thousands of dollars. You shouldn't have to deal with servers that look like the clip I just showed you. However, it's the first weekend. We can expect to have some hiccups and some issues right here. Most of the stuff seemed to be okay. From the production side, it wasn't ideal, but probably still better right now in terms of production than we were at in the very first weekend in Minnesota, where we couldn't even see the player cams and the scoreboard and all of that stuff that has been dealt with over the last few months or so. And the game looks a lot better to watch than it did at the start of the title. However, of course, there are still some issues. I don't think the pros should be having to put up with this stuff, but as Nameless says in this tweet here in a reply to Octane, Octane wasn't particularly happy with this tweet from Nameless, since been deleted. Another Game 5 loss to Seattle. S&D is their Achilles heel, won't come close to winning an event until they start taking down Surge. I think Octane said something like there's no events to win because it's all online. Nameless then follows up with, unfortunately, we aren't living in a perfect world at the moment. We have to make the best of the situation. Online will have to do. I think we should all be grateful, effectively, that we can still operate during this pandemic given the current state of the world. And I think that is a fair point from Nameless given the situation. Yes, the pros are frustrated, and for good reason in this case. I want to, not get over that fact. And clearly, the CDL and Activision and Infinity Ward have something to work on here to ensure we are playing in a competitively sound environment. However, we have to be grateful we even have the opportunity to play in this environment. So I think there's two sides to the coin here, but let's move on to that series, to the next one. Toronto Ultra versus the Florida Mutineers. This one, Ultra take it down in a 3-2 fashion. Really came down to this game 5. It was pretty remarkable. Florida lost both hardpoint, or both search and destroys here, of course. That game 5 they really could have won, but Metals with a massive 1v2 that I'll show on screen real quick pretty much closed the game out for them, brought them up to 5-3, and it shouldn't have happened.
I think that's the deal. He has to win this engagement and really just kind of go a bit balls to the walls. He finds one, and now the pressure almost onto Pharaoh. And I tell you what, this could be something special. You're 4-3 up. You've just made a 1v2, and Pharaoh makes the mistake of not checking the bomb.
So then let's move on to the most interesting series of the day in a way. That's Chicago Huntsmen versus a Minnesota Rocker. This was on paper probably the scariest matchup of the day. Top 2 team in the game versus top 4 team in the game. And it started off very interesting indeed. 250 to 239, the first hardpoint. RCT is now on this main assault rifle roll, rocking it at 27 or 26 and 17. So massive performances from him. So a really close hardpoint here in the first map on Ramaza. Very interesting series on the whole. Super close one. But map 2 was where things really got interesting. So on paper, okay, 6-5 fashion, it is what it is. But if you guys look closely over here at the left-hand side, wanted to say a big thanks to Cam Allen and Horizontal once again for sorting out these scoreboards. Just fantastic stuff. So much work goes into it. Look who's in the header right here. So yeah, thanks a lot to them. I'll leave their links down in the description box below, as always, for you guys to drop them a follow here on Twitter to keep up with this stuff as it happens in real time. But Chicago Huntsmen, they go up 2-0, but this was the Envoy show, and I effectively wanted to show like an Envoy montage or something on screen right now of exactly what happened in this game too, because it was remarkable. We don't see a lot of 0-5 comebacks in Call of Duty. The most famous one, the reason why this is called a full sale, if you guys aren't aware, is pretty much the first one that ever happened on LAN in Call of Duty was back in the Black Ops 2 days. It was Express Search and Destroy, if you guys remember that map. Complexity versus OpTic Gaming, I believe. OpTic went up 5-0. A lot of OpTic fans, a lot of OG OpTic fans will, there's kind of a running meme about whenever someone mentions a full sale, they will just say it didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about, because one of the most embarrassing moments of OpTic Gaming history, really, when they got 5-0 swept by Aches' Complexity at the time. Aches and Scump being the only 2 people now that have both done a full sale and been full sailed. So Aches got full sailed at World War II Champs, I believe, or one of the World War II events, and maybe it also happened to be in Black Ops 4, I think, on the Envy squad, and he obviously did it on the Complexity team in the Black Ops 2 days on Express versus OpTic Gaming. Scump was on that team. Now Scump has done it to Minnesota Rocker. Some people might say this doesn't count because it's online, but whatever, like, it's still a very rare occasion. But Envoy was the star of the show here, without doubt. He absolutely dominated it. I think he started off 1-5, finishes off 14-6. Like, this is remarkable stuff. He basically won them almost every single round up until the final one, and then he ninja diffuses it for the win. Like, pretty remarkable. I'll share the clips on screen.
Not looking good for the Huntsmen, but at the very least, they do have site control over A and B, and Envoy is behind enemy lines, trying to go over top.
Oh,
someone's opening the door, but Envoy is saying hello.
Past the A site, Arstes is hanging back, playing slow. 4 versus 4. Gunners who fell in this exact position a few rounds prior will take a few shots and wisely back away. Doesn't want to get naded. Doesn't want to give away his life. Nothing. 50 seconds to go. Still 4v4, and everyone from Minnesota Rocker is in the A site. Alex will find one. Arstes goes down. Is this now the potential opening Minnesota Rocker need to close out this game?
Outside control, and the bomb is going to get planted. Now the deal is on the Huntsmen to try to get this retake. Gunless pushing up top with the M4, wins the opening fight.
Not quite sure how, I'm going to be honest, Chance, but Gunless levels the playing field. 3v3. I can't believe it. Envoy, you've been a hero throughout the entire game. He's on the bomb. The defuse. Minnesota Rocker, you gotta check it. Full sale happens again from 5-0 down. Chicago Huntsmen win 6 in a row.
So 2 of the closest maps you're ever going to see, but Minnesota lose out on both of them. And yeah, said thanks to Cam Allen already. This was the screen capture effectively of all the players after the fact. Formal didn't have his camera on clearly, so maybe Sender was subbing in or something. There was a little bit of a funny back and forth on Twitter, but it is kind of funny to see the players' faces so close. Like Minnesota do not look best pleased with the situation they find themselves in, but still got the opportunity to bounce back in the tournament for sure. This is a funny tweet from Octane as well. Alright, we know the history, hand cam up. There's clips of Envoy back in the day keyboarding in like Black Ops 3 GBs and stuff, so that's what Octane is going about here, so pretty entertaining stuff. And here we go then. So they finish out the series as a 3-0 domination, 150 to 140, like, again, one of the closest maps you're going to see. Not great maps from GodRx or Alex by any means here. Probably that map 2 got in their head to some degree, but RCT's with a 2.0 KD over the course of this one. And yeah, pretty remarkable. The fact that these 3 maps were so close though, and Chicago did clutch up and win them, is pretty impressive stuff. As you can see here, like, not the best series from Scump. He's probably the player that, you know, might suffer most not being on LAN. Like, he always is a better player on LAN, Scump, than he is online. But they do win the series. Very close fashion though, so, you know, what can be said about that? Who really knows? But the map 2, of course, was a massive game changer, and Envoy in that Search and Destroy just took over to a degree that we haven't seen in a long time in a Search and Destroy. So very impressive from him. And And then the final series of the day, Dallas Empire versus the Los Angeles Guerrillas. Thought this was a funny image here that LAG put out. Dallas Empire versus their LAG right here. Would have been funny if it had like Blaz somewhere on here, but because of course Blaz is a beast online, as we will look at. This was a tweet that Clayster has since deleted. Actually, pre this series, the CDL tried their best, but it's crazy to me we're going to be playing LAG on a server that's further west than they are back in the online kingdom. So saying that the server that they were going to be playing was based in San Francisco. These guys, of course, they're Los Angeles guys based in LA. So interesting if that is indeed the case, but Clayster since deleted this tweet, so who knows. But map number 1 went the way of the Dallas Empire, 250 to 170. Great map here from Crimsix, and Shotzzy pretty much goes off this map number 1, so impressive stuff there. Then the game 2, Los Angeles Guerrillas bring it back with a 6-3 victory. Here comes Blast with his 13-5, truly remarkable performance. Then the game number 3, this is where things got interesting, a forfeit in favour of the Dallas Empire. Very early in this map, I think it was 23 to 23 in score, something like that. Aqua lagged out of the game, and Decimate then later in the half just left because he was like, well, we're going to lose. If I leave, maybe they'll give us a replay or something. But if you know anything about Call of Duty GBs and all the rules, you just don't leave games. That's just a death sentence. But as Clayster says here in this tweet, GG to LAG 131. We'll have a look at that map 4 in a second. It is what it is. Servers are in a rough spot, and the forfeit wasn't our choice. We asked for a replay and was told the decision was made out of our hands. To clarify, the forfeit was due to Decimate leaving the game. They already laid the ground rules for disconnects mid-map. It would have been a play second side where the first side scores if Decimate didn't leave. Now, I believe they have a feature for pausing the game, but that may only be available on LAN, not online, which is very difficult because in this circumstance, even if Decimate didn't leave, they would have been playing 5v5 if Aqua was able to join back, with a huge disadvantage due to the fact they were playing 4v5 map 1. And, of course, Empire built up a fair bit of a lead. So not ideal. I don't really know what the best solution is here then, because you have the issues of players potentially, like, let's say you get off to a bad start. Oh, let me just unplug my Ethernet and disconnect from the game. And then, oh, we have to replay. What a disaster, right? So that is an issue that has to be dealt with. So you have to lay down some rules. Of course, if the servers are going to be like this and that's the cause of Aqua's issue here, that's not ideal by any means. So some more problems. We'll have to see how this develops. It is probably better just to have a hard and fast rule and say that's what it is, because you don't want anything to be abused, which is possible, right? Let's not limit that as a factor for consideration here. So really unfortunate for LAG to lose this one, given this could have been their series, right? And then the game number 4. Very, very close hardpoint, 250 to 244, but Dallas Empire do end up taking it down with a pretty good performance from Illy right at the end here. So, yeah, remarkable series on the whole. More forfeits for LAG. They got forfeited by, I forget the team, I think maybe it was Minnesota early in the season as well for that Piccadilly Search and Destroy, where Lacefield had a perk on that he shouldn't have had. But yeah, so much stuff to discuss today. Blast obviously with the big 1.4, even though he loses his series. I'd be intrigued to hear your thoughts on this whole series of events down below. The Envoy situation, the Seattle Surge, the server drama. Same thing here really with the Los Angeles Guerrillas, and the whole viewing experience on the whole definitely has some way to go. Here we go to finish then. The CDL kicks off tonight, 6 PM my time. That's 1 PM Eastern, 10 AM Pacific time. Thanks for watching as always. Like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'll be back tomorrow for sure. I'll see you next time.